You think you know Van Gogh's Starry Night, but look closer. The village isn't real. The sky is alive, and the night itself seems to be watching you. What is the sky arguing for? Harmony or turbulence? Starry Night is one of the most famous images on Earth, but fame can turn a painting into wallpaper. Today, we look again. What was Van Gogh really saying with those spirals? That blazing morning star and a village that wasn't actually there. This episode makes a simple claim. Starry Night is not a snapshot of a view. It's an argument about what it feels like to be alive, how the outside world and the inner world collide. Van Gogh painted Starry Night in June 1889 while staying at an asylum in Saint-Rémy-de-Provence. He had a small studio and a bedroom with a window facing east. Morning after morning, he sketched that view. Hills, a cluster of trees, a sky on fire with dawn. But in Starry Night, look closely at the town below. The steep church steeple resembles Dutch architecture more than Provençal. The actual view didn't include a neat village like this. Vincent is mixing observation with memory France outside the window, the Netherlands in his mind. The painting is already an argument against literalism. The truth of a landscape includes what you bring to it. By inventing the village, Vincent anchors the cosmic drama with a human scale. A sleeping town, lit windows. The ordinary persists even under a cosmic sky. That contrast, intimate human life beneath vast, roiling forces, frames everything that follows. Vincent had been wrestling with night for years. How do you paint darkness when paint is pigment and darkness is the absence of light? His solution was paradoxical. Make the night brighter. In Café Terrace at night, stars sparkle against warm gaslight. In Starry Night over the Rhone, reflections prickle the water like braided gold. In Starry Night, the night becomes architecture. Blue isn't a background, it's a structure. He layers blue's ultramarine, cobalt then drags lighter paint across darker passages so the surface itself seems to ripple. This is night as a place you can walk into, not a backdrop behind a subject. He's also arguing against the idea that realism equals accuracy. Vincent paints the experience of night the way your eyes pulse between stars and darkness rather than the camera's exposure. The sky isn't flat, it breathes. Color does rhetorical work here. Vincent pits deep blues against yellows and oranges. This is the classic complement. Set a color beside its opposite and both intensify. The stars don't glow just because they're yellow, they glow because they're surrounded by oceans of blue. Across the canvas, the church steeple does a subtler version of the same move. Another vertical, another bridge between below and above. But notice scale. The steeple is small, the cypress massive. Institutions versus nature, doctrine versus the raw fact of the world. Vincent doesn't preach, he composes. The comparison is there to be felt rather than declared. Finally, the paint. This is impasto thick, sculptural. You can almost count the strokes. The texture is not an afterthought, it's evidence of making. He wants the act of seeing to include the act of painting. Feeling is not only in what is depicted, but how it's laid down. Astronomers and art historians have noted that the brightest body here aligns with Venus, visible as the morning star in that season. Whether or not every celestial fact is precise, Vincent's choice to amplify Venus matters. Mythically and culturally, Venus is a symbol of beauty and love. Here, it becomes a point of orientation, an anchor of radiance within turbulence. The moon's crescent is oversized, the star halos are thick, and the sky churns. This isn't astronomy, it's psychology. The heavens behave the way emotion behaves, expanding, contracting, spiraling, surging. While at Saint-Rémy, Vincent cycled through illness and recovery. Letters to his brother Theo talk about wanting to paint the night, to capture the trembling of stars. He also wrestled with questions of belief. He'd abandoned formal ministry years earlier, but spiritual hunger never left him. That's why the painting reads like an existential diagram. The village, ordinary life, small lights, sleep. The church, organized meaning, a narrow but steady vertical. The cypress, nature's vertical wild, alive, reaching. The sky, the sublime, beautiful, and overwhelming. Starry Night holds these in tension. The argument isn't choose one, it's this is our situation. We live between the village and the vortex, asking for meaning while the world keeps moving. Two influences help decode the look. First, Japanese prints, which Van Gogh collected and copied. Their bold outlines and flat, rhythmic shapes gave him permission to simplify forms and amplify pattern. Second, Romantic color theory, he read about the expressive power of complements. Blue, orange, wasn't an accident, it was strategy. You can even spot visual rhymes. The sky's scalloped waves echo the curves in famous Japanese prints. It's not a direct quote. It's a way of seeing pattern as emotion. A few quick corrections sharpen the meaning. It's the exact view from his window. Not quite. The hills and trees come from Saint Remy, but the village and church are inventions. That blend of outer world and inner memory is the point. The swirling sky is just chaos. It's carefully composed motion. The arcs lead the eye. They're choreographed. It's a purely sad painting. The sky is turbulent, but the lights are steady. The painting gives us both disturbance and consolation and refuses to reduce experience to either one. So what is Starry Night arguing? That feeling is a form of knowledge, a way the world is known. That nature and culture both reach upward, but not equally. The cypress dwarfs the steeple. That light persists, even when the heavens turn in on themselves. That truth in art is experiential, not documentary. The right night is the one that feels true. Van Gogh once wrote that he wanted his work to say, "This is what it means to be alive." Starry Night says it with breath and spin, with cypress and dawn. The world is turbulent and luminous. If this helped you see the painting in a new way, subscribe to The Visual Argument. In the comments, tell me, which part of Starry Night speaks loudest to you, the village, the cypress, or the sky? Thank you for watching our first production. We look forward to seeing you again on the next one.